Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for my client Brett's vlog. And this week we don't have the full week of workouts. He had some camera issues, didn't have his GoPro with him uh, when he went and trained and deadlifted with a friend at his house, apparently for his deadlift day. So we only have the bench, the squat, and the press day. All of them he did good, but just for the record on his deadlift, he said that he got 450 for 7 for his peak set. And everything else went really well. For the bench, for the plus set, he got 8 reps, and all these are at 85% training max. You guys can do all the math. His training maxes are listed down below like they are for all my clients who program off training maxes, right? We keep up with that, and I keep it down below for you guys. So again, it's PRs on everything this week. I believe he said he got 8. Yeah, it was 8 reps on the squat, and then 10 reps on the overhead press. He got 160 for 10 on the press, which is really good, which is real good. You guys could estimate what you think his max is from there. But the benching, as normal, we do 5 sets of 10 afterwards. We ramp up to a heavy peak set. Not quite a true AMRAP. We try to leave a rep in reserve because we don't want grinders. And then we do 5 sets of 10, usually for most different percentages. My advanced lifters always do 50%, unless it's someone like Isaac, who we did short waves, and then we take him to 50% pretty much indefinitely. Guys like Brett, just because of his deadlift strength and stuff, I keep him at a flat 50%. Also, he wanted to see how his back looked on camera, so he did a shirtless pull-up video. So as you guys can see, he does 5x10 bench, then 5x10 pull-ups. Then we do barbell curls and band press downs, right, for his triceps. Now, because he does everything close grip, I don't worry as much about the stretch stuff at the moment for his triceps. If I can get him to start going wider grip on the bench, then we might adjust the exercises we do. And a lot of my guys, people notice, they're like, a lot of your people who have dumbbells and barbells, you have them spend a lot of time doing band work for the tricep press downs. Why is that? It's to build tendons. It's because out of all the tricep exercises, band work is easiest on your elbows, and it's really good with higher reps for building up, hypertrophying the tendons around the elbow and tendons of the tricep. Because what happens with a lot of movements is that tricep tendons can get inflamed if we're not careful. And that can be reduced to some extent by changing the way we do some movements. But some people on any sort of free weight exercise, they always eventually get dodgy elbows depending upon the person. So what this lets us do is build those tendons up over time. And I don't like to let a lot of my novices do any real heavy tricep exercises. For a while, a lot of times I like them to spend some time doing band work. And in Brett's case, he's rebuilding right now. Well, I believe he's got dumbbells and everything, but because we're in a rebuilding phase and he detrained, I want to make sure his tendons are good for a while before I change to something else. And I will eventually rotate this for other exercises. Because again, you guys will note, a lot of my people do dumbbells. Some of them do barbells. Right, we do other exercises. But I like press downs a lot. And even with a rope, it's not as good as the bands for that. But a lot of my guys, I put them on a rope press down, on a cable. All right, squats, he did great. We got 8 reps today. We got 8 reps. So again, squat's coming up. And squat has arguably always been his weakest exercise. And he knows that. And it's funny because, a lot of people are like, well, deadlift uses a lot of lower body, and his deadlift has always been his best, and his squat his worst. It's like, yeah, and it just has to do with his long legs. It has to do with him just needing more quad and more adductor development, which we're addressing with the movements that we do. Right? Unlike me, guys like me who have massive quads, a lot of these guys don't. In the case of someone like me, adductors, glutes, things like that are really more of a limit for me these days, and they need work for my squatting, particularly after I detrained due to cutting. and lost a lot of squat strength. I'm going to have to build those areas back up. But in his case, it's just general thigh, it's quad, it's adductor. So we hit those things. And he has a history of pulling adductors. For those who are not aware, he has pulled multiple adductors. It's been a major issue for him, which is, again, why we're careful with what we do on overuse. Right? We do the squatting and everything, but even then, we only do true adductor work, once a week for him. Again, overuse issues. That is the problem we run into with everyone who wants to push the bleeding edge on volume. They get hurt. This is where injuries happen. People have this bizarre idea that people get hurt lifting heavy weights. And that rarely happens. It really isn't. Someone who's got balanced muscles and they're lifting big on big barbell exercises, your injury rate is actually not that high. It's overuse. And overuse can accrue through our small exercises. It's overuse that causes injuries. It's how we get hurt. And it's something I've had to accept more and more myself with my own training. That I have to be aware of that and think about that. But back over to Brett. So we follow that up with deep, wide stance belt squats, which again, he has a machine. We might as well use it. We try to get some use out of it. And again, I'm trying to give him good use out of the newer equipment that he has. And you guys see all those specialty bars. We don't use many of those right now for him. Eventually we will. Right now we don't need them. Although I can see a time coming where we will want to do that. Pressing, like I said before, he got 10 reps with 160. These are clean, paused, full range of motion. Like, no one can hate on these. They're strict. So his delt and tricep strength is great. Right? Delt and tricep strength is great. It's coming up. Because again, this is getting relatively impressive, especially considering how strict they are. Right? He's pausing on every rep using no leg drive. Then we follow that up with 5x10, and then we're doing similar to what he does on his bench day after that, which means we do the 5x10, we do pull-ups, we do curls, we do tricep extensions. And eventually I could take his volume down later, right? I could take his volume down later if we wanted to. But for now, I keep him on a 4-day. We do a normal 5-3-1 type template because he responds well to it. And, again, it's funny to me when people try to point out, like, well, some of these guys are not doing a lot of volume. It's like, he does 10 sets of pull-ups every week, 10 sets of curls, 10 sets of band press downs, 8 sets of bench, 8 sets of overhead press. Then you get to the lower body, 8 sets of squats, 8 sets of deadlifts, 5 sets of belt squats, 5 sets of glute ham raises. In no world is that low volume. I look at those numbers, and to me, a lot of that represents, basically maximum recoverable volume. Okay. Most of the muscles in his body are near the limits. This is the highest volumes that I would prescribe for most advanced lifters. Okay, and the reason I'm willing to give him this much volume is why? He's rebuilding. He detrained, didn't train for 3 months. We're rebuilding, and he's bulking. He's gaining weight actively. The scale has been moving up. He's probably up 8 pounds, 10 pounds, something in that range since these blogs started. So I'm willing to give him a little bit more volume. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.